Hello and welcome live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy, and coming up in the next 30 minutes. India and Qatar elevate ties to a strategic partnership after talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Qatar's Emir Al Thani in Delhi. US and Russian representatives meet in Riyadh for peace talks. The Kremlin says Ukraine has the right to join EU, but not NATO. Israel says will enter negotiations on the next phase of Gaza truce this week. And a miraculous escape for all 80 flyers in the Flip Delta plane crash in Toronto. Passengers narrate harrowing experiences and tales of chaos. The Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, is on a two-day visit to India. The visit is aimed at strengthening growing partnership between the two nations. Our next report brings us more.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi breaking protocol to personally receive the Emir of Qatar as he touched down in New Delhi for his state visit. The warm gesture by the Indian Prime Minister highlighted the growing ties between New Delhi and Doha. The high-profile visit of Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani highlights the strengthening ties between India and Qatar, two nations bound by history, trade and diplomacy. On the second day of his two-day visit, the Emir of Qatar, Tamim, received the Guard of Honor and a ceremonial welcome in the forecourt of the Rashtrapati Bhavan on Tuesday. He was received by President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi along with senior ministers from the government.
His Highness the Emir of Qatar is accompanied by a high-level delegation comprising ministers, senior officials, and business leaders. The dignitaries who are accompanying His Highness include Qatar's Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani, as well as the Ministers of Commerce and Industry, Energy, Electronics and Information Technology, Labour, and the Minister of State for Foreign Trade.
Prime Minister Modi held a bilateral meeting with the Emir at Hyderabad House in New Delhi. India and Qatar elevated their ties to strategic partnership as the two sides signed MoU, including on double tax avoidance and prevention of fiscal evasions with respect to taxes on income. With bilateral trade surpassing $14 billion in 2023-24, Qatar remains India's largest supplier of liquid natural gas, fueling the country's growing energy needs. In return, India exports a range of goods from food and textiles to engineering products. This visit is expected to pave the way for new agreements deepening this economic partnership.
The partnership, which rests on the foundation of trust, trade, and tradition. We have a very strong historical legacy starting right from the old times when we had the Silk Route. But today, we live in a new world, a new age, where we are rewriting the terms of trade. We are rewriting the way business will be conducted. In fact, we are creating new Silk Age routes, whether it's the IMEC, whether it's the newer technologies that we are engaged with.
Qatar's Minister of State for Foreign Trade Affairs, Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Saeed, highlighted the strong partnership between India and Qatar during Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani's visit. He emphasized collaboration in trade, technology and investment, particularly in non-oil sectors, to strengthen bilateral ties.
The world today is changing dramatically in terms of trade and business, the apply of technology and AI. Qatar also enhancing the landscape of attractiveness of investment. We are welcoming Indian business people. We are encouraging our business society, government and public sector to invest more in India and to create more partnership.
But beyond trade, defense and security cooperation, the two nations share intelligence on counterterrorism, and India regularly participates in Qatar's maritime defense exhibitions. Recent agreements have bolstered cooperation in cybersecurity, port management, and skill development. Another key pillar of this relationship is the Indian diaspora. Over 800,000 Indians live and work in Qatar, contributing to its development. Their welfare remains a priority in bilateral talks. Jessica Taneja's report for DD India.
And briefing the media on the Emir of Qatar's visit to India, the Ministry of External Affairs has said Prime Minister Modi held bilateral talks and expressed desire to expand the multifaceted relations and cooperation between the two countries, and also to elevate the ties to a strategic partnership.
Both sides have today agreed to elevate the relationship to a strategic partnership, and India and Qatar have signed an agreement in this regard today.
MEA Secretary Arun Kumar Chatterjee also informed that the trade between India and Qatar is around $14.8 billion, and both sides are looking to double it in the next 5 years.
The trade today between India and Qatar is about $14 billion annually. Both sides have agreed to set a target to double this in the next 5 years.
And the two sides have also agreed to explore the possibility of a free trade agreement in future.
India and the Gulf Cooperation Council, we are at this moment negotiating about having a free trade agreement. As far as Qatar is concerned, both sides are exploring the possibility of signing a free trade agreement in future, and that was one of the discussions that took place in this round of talks.
Now, the United States and Russia's top officials are meeting today in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia for talks aiming to end the Ukraine conflict. Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is leading the Russian delegation in the meeting with U.S. officials, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, White House National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, and Middle East Envoy Steve Witkoff. The talks could also pave the way for a summit between U.S. President Trump and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. Ukraine, which is not attending the Riyadh talks, earlier said no peace deal can be made on its behalf. Now, as the U.S. and Russian officials are meeting in Riyadh, the Kremlin and its spokesperson Dmitry Peskov have reiterated that President Putin has always said that Russia is ready for peace talks.
As for Russia's focus on peace, this focus has been there from the very beginning. From the very beginning, President Putin has repeated his words about the readiness for peace talks. Unlike many other countries, especially Ukraine, which has forbidden itself to engage in peace talks, unlike the Europeans who have always talked about war, about the need to continue the war at any cost.
While on Ukraine becoming a part of the European Union, Peskov said it is Ukraine's sovereign right to decide whether it wanted to join EU, and Moscow did not intend to dictate to Kyiv how it should approach the question. Peskov, however, added that Russia's position was different when it comes to Ukraine joining military and security alliances. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is in Turkey to meet its President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. After arriving there, Zelenskyy, along with his other officials, commemorated Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the founder and the first president of the Turkish Republic. He was also accompanied by Ukraine's First Lady Olena Zelenska. The Ukrainian president, who arrived in Turkey on Monday late night, is scheduled to meet Erdogan. Both the leaders will also hold a press conference. The President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, has welcomed EU Special Envoy for Ukraine and Russia, Keith Kellogg, at the Commission's headquarters in Brussels on Tuesday. Taking to social media, the EU chief wrote that, and I quote, "We want to partner with the US to deliver a just and lasting peace for Ukraine," end quote. She also said that Europe wants to partner with the US to deliver a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Von der Leyen emphasized the EU's critical role in ensuring Ukraine's financial stability and defense. The meeting took place after an emergency meeting in Paris on Monday, where around 10 European leaders participated. And Kellogg also met the President of the European Council, Antonio Costa, on Tuesday. Kellogg will be visiting Ukraine on Wednesday to take the talks further. Israel is set to begin negotiations on the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire deal, which includes the exchange of remaining Israeli hostages for Palestinian detainees. Foreign Minister Gideon Saar made the announcement on Tuesday, reiterating Israel's demand for the complete demilitarization of the enclave. Talks for this phase were expected to begin before the first phase ends on the 2nd of March, but Qatar has confirmed that negotiations have not officially started. Meanwhile, Saar also acknowledged an alternative plan for Gaza proposed by Arab states, aimed at countering a US-backed redevelopment proposal, which Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said is worth exploring.
Now, we had yesterday night Security Cabinet meeting. We decided to open negotiations on the second phase. It will happen this week.
Thank you, everyone.
Complete demilitarization of Gaza. We will not accept the continued presence of Hamas or any other terrorist groups in Gaza.
In Canada, a Delta Airlines regional jet flipped upside down after landing at Toronto's Pearson International Airport. The incident left 18 people injured, but there were no fatalities. But the injured also included a child who's in critical condition.
This airplane just crashed at 2-3. Second Mike Tango Medevac. Not sure what the plan is here. Just give me a second. Yeah, we've got it. The aircraft is upside down and burning.
The plane, a CRJ-900 operated by Delta's Endeavour Air subsidiary, was carrying 80 passengers and crew members from Minneapolis, St. Paul. The aircraft touched down shortly, but things quickly took a terrifying turn as it landed and flipped upside down.
When I was grabbing lunch, I hear people at the table behind me saying there was an accident at Pearson. What? And then someone at the end of the bar said, yeah, the plane flipped over. I'm like, what?
Emergency crews rushed to the scene as flames briefly erupted from the plane. Despite the plane being overturned, all 80 people on board survived the crash. The airport was closed for more than 2 hours as emergency operations were underway, causing significant delays and diversions to other airports.
But I found that you were getting constant sayings on the intercom saying that there's a delay, etc. But everything seemed to be very normal. That's what I found really odd. It was people were taking it in stride. Okay, everybody's expecting a delay, but it won't really affect us.
Canadian and US safety officials are now investigating the cause of the crash.
The cause of the crash is still under investigation and being led by the Transportation Safety Board. It's not appropriate for us to comment at this time. At this time, we believe all our emergency response went as planned. We will, however, be conducting a review. This is an active investigation. It's very early on. It's really important that we do not speculate. What we can say is the runway was dry and there was no crosswind conditions.
This crash follows a series of recent aviation accidents across North America. Aarti Rana's report for DD India.
And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. The Philippines Coast Guard dubs the maneuvers of a Chinese Navy chopper as dangerous near the disputed Scarborough Shoal in the South China Sea. And a taste of Malaysia's cuisine and culture in India's capital, Delhi.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, to address the pressing environmental challenges, a day-long conclave on waste recycling and climate change was held in New Delhi. The conclave featured several sessions on various topics and discussions on how waste recycling can be implemented effectively and how climate change can be mitigated by adopting a more environmentally conscious mindset. Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Bhupendra Yadav, inaugurated the conclave and urged the recycling industry in the country to develop and adopt newer innovative technologies for reducing dependence on natural resources as well as cutting down imports of critical minerals needed for economic growth.
जिस प्रकार से दुनिया में प्रोडक्शन चल रहा है उसमें हमें टेक मेक और डिस्पोज की एटीट्यूड से निकलकर रीसाइकल और रीयूज़ की ओर जाना पड़ेगा और इसलिए जो हम प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, जो हम कंज्यूम करते हैं और जो हम डिस्पोज करते हैं मटेरियल, उनको वापस से रीयूज़ करके रीसाइकल कैसे किया जाए, यही सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी के मूल में है। इसलिए प्रधानमंत्री जी का जो सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी का जो विज़न है 2047 के हम एक विकसित भारत की कल्पना करते हैं, उसमें जो अपने रिसोर्सेज हैं उसको मिनिमाइज वेस्ट करें और मैक्सिमाइज रिसोर्स एफिशिएंसी की ओर हम ध्यान दें।
Now, about 200 delegates, including environmental scientists, waste management professionals and policymakers attended the conclave with focus on effective, sustainable recycling practices. India's export sector reached new heights at the 54th National Export Awards held in New Delhi, where excellence in engineering and quality were celebrated. With key milestones achieved and ambitious targets ahead, this prestigious event honored the individuals and companies driving India's growth in global markets. DD India's Anil Thomas has the details.
All of you.
The 54th National Export Awards held in New Delhi recognized 120 awardees for excellence in exports and quality. These prestigious awards celebrated the companies and individuals behind India's remarkable export achievements over the past year. A significant milestone was marked with the launch of the EEPC India website and mobile app by the Indian Minister.
And with the website now official.
I extend my best wishes to the awards winners who are truly ambassadors of our vision to make in India, and it is through your efforts that India's exports have seen a historic rise.
Engineering exports have reached a historic milestone, surpassing $100 billion for the first time. With the government setting even higher standards, the EEPC is now focused on making this ambitious goal a reality.
The top exporter.
We are 10% of India's GDP, and in 2030 we will be 300 million out of a export figure of 1 trillion. So we are expected to grow from 28.5 to 30%.
The global market is currently impacted by what many are calling the 3 Cs, and countries around the world are working to find solutions to navigate these challenges.
The COVID, the climate and the conflict. And it was apt to what is happening right now. Yes, we can still say COVID has gone, but the effect of climate change and the conflicts are constantly coming up.
A total of 106 exporters and 14 quality champions received awards at this ceremony. For many, it was a recognition of legacy, while for others, especially first-time winners, it was a dream come true.
It is a motivation for us every year. So, since it's the 10th time, so it doesn't feel like, so every year it encourages us, probably we should get like, the first time we got it for a small sector, and then now we moved to the large sector.
Award motivates all people to work very hard, and it promotes the export of our nation, not only well-being of all employees of various trade, but it's a growth of a nation.
I started from scratch this company and growing slowly, and now this is I'm very delighted to receive this award, top exporter award for micro enterprise.
For 70 years, EEPC India has been a pillar in supporting India's export sector with a membership base of around 9,500, predominantly from the MSME segment. The future looks bright as they continue to drive India's global presence in the engineering export sector. The future looks bright as they continue to drive India's global presence in the engineering export sector. Anil Thomas, DD India, New Delhi.
Now, the celebration of Malaysia's finest flavors and culture has begun in New Delhi. The grand inauguration of the Malaysia Food and Cultural Festival 2025 took place at one of the hotels in the national capital. Through this festival, a unique experience of Malaysian rich culinary and cultural heritage is being brought to India. Organized by with the collaboration of Tourism Malaysia and IBIS Kuala Lumpur City Centre, this festival will run from the 17th of this month to the 23rd.
Malaysia is not only giving a new dimension to its relationship with India, but is also looking to develop a new identity for Malaysian tourism through Indian tourists. To achieve this, Tourism Malaysia Delhi has organized a 7-day Malaysia Food and Culture Festival in New Delhi. The festival was inaugurated by Malaysia's High Commissioner Muzaffar Shah Mustafa and the Director of Tourism Malaysia Delhi, Ahmad Johanif Muhammad Ali. Ambassadors from ASEAN countries along with several esteemed guests from travel, hospitality and media industries were also present on the occasion.
In collaboration between Tourism Malaysia and also Accor Group hotels, we are bringing a culture and food festival in the Pullman Hotel. It's for a 7 days program that Indian public can come and savor different Malaysian cuisine, and there will be also a cultural performance. We hope that Indian public would get some glimpse of what Malaysia can offer to the Indian tourist.
Malaysian about the food. And then of course the food is one of the big things for Malaysian, because whenever they met, the first thing they will ask about, have you got your breakfast or you have had your lunch? That will be the first question when we meet each other. That's how big food to us, yeah.
Malaysia's cuisine is famous for its unique flavors and remarkable fusion. At this food festival, a perfect blend of Malay, Chinese and Indian culinary traditions is on the menu. The festival is a window for Malaysia to introduce its cuisine to Indian food lovers.
Last year, we received about 1.13 million Indian tourists coming to Malaysia. I think that the main game changer for that is when we make easy in terms of the visa for the Indian travel to Malaysia. So that means we have free visa. So that means it's much easier for the Indian travel to Malaysia. Currently, we've been connected to 18 cities in India and 3 cities in Malaysia.
The festival will continue until February 23rd, 2025 and will be made even more special with the Sunday brunch. The festival offers a fantastic opportunity for food, travel and culture enthusiasts to enjoy Malaysia's flavors and culture. Bureau Report, DD India.
Let's now take a look at some other stories making the news around the world. The Philippine Coast Guard condemned dangerous maneuvers by a Chinese Navy helicopter on Tuesday. The Chinese chopper was flying within 3 meters of a surveillance flight carrying a group of journalists over the disputed territory of the Scarborough Shoal. According to the Coast Guard, the helicopter had been as close as 3 meters to the Fisheries Bureau aircraft. Farmers in Thailand are demanding the government guarantee paddy prices as current prices are falling. They also called for price controls on fertilizers and insecticides and a 2-year debt repayment moratorium. Holding placards that read fertilizers and insecticides are expensive while rye prices are low, they warn of escalating protests if their demands are not met. The Cinema Works Museum in Australia's Kenilworth is a treasure trove of filmmaking history. The collection includes items like a First World War camera and a working Lumiere cinematograph replica. Curated by 94-year-old Kev Franzi, His passion for cinema has drawn 32,000 visitors in the first 10 years of the museum's existence. And that's all we have for the moment in this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. You can scan the QR code on the screen and download the app now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.